What's up guys? We are back with another D21 video. We're in the garage and someone actually commented and they wanted me to make a video showing the vacuum and wiring. I mean, not wiring, the vacuum and like EGR, Evap diaphragm. So I had a diaphragm printed up. I'm going to show you in a second, but I'm also going to show you what it looks like under the hood. So we're gonna look at the diaphragm first and then I'll show you under the hood. Now, this is for a 97, 96 OBD2. If you have OBD1, I don't know what to tell you because I don't have any way to show you the OBD1. So we're just going off of my year. So hopefully that person has my year truck. I found a diaphragm pretty much at the back of the motor, and this is like your main part where all these wires and connections go to. You got your mass airflow sensor, you got your throttle position sensor, EGR valve, then you got the swirl valve solenoid, and then you got another swirl valve here, and then you got a EGRC BTB valve right here. All these valves have all these different connections to them. Then you got your purge valve stuff. So this is like your EGR stuff, and they have hoses that run through here, down, everywhere pretty much, and they all have to be connected the proper way. So I'm gonna show you in a second. So all right guys, so I showed you the EGR stuff. This is the Evap stuff right here, and a lot of this stuff looks confusing, but it's like two sections of the truck. You got your EGR, then you got your Evap. And they have a bunch of little tiny hoses and everything that go and follow in different directions. And most of them run through these like thick metal braids that go to sensors and throttle body and everything else to make your truck run efficient and not have bad emissions. But eventually some of these hoses go bad, they crack. Found a better diaphragm that's showing in more detail of where some of these things go. So I'll put a link in the description so you can look at it. But yeah, you start off on the Evap side. You got one going to the swirl, one going to the map solenoid switch, which is a sensor right down here under this Evap canister. Then you got a one-way valve, which I believe runs all the way here where it says one-way valve, which is connected to like a, this is like a connector which connects both sides that runs into this tube in here. I think this tubing goes to the throttle body. Yeah, it's kind of confusing, man. Honestly, it's just so many damn hoses. All this stuff is for emissions. But basically, charcoal comes from the charcoal canister into this thing, into this purge valve. That goes down, I think it goes into your exhaust, and it helps it burn clean emissions. EGR, I believe gases flow through the EGR valve. It's just to circulate fuel and air mix. So this is like an air mixture and fuel mixture. So we are back under the hood of the hard body, and in order to see both of these areas, which looks very cluttered and confusing in real life compared to the diaphragm, you have to remove your airbox. Get the airbox out of there, you'll be able to see. So I'm just gonna point out some of the main things here. So first off, you got your map sensor right here, or no, is it right here? Yeah, I think this is your map. And then you got, I forgot the name of this one. Oh my gosh, I cannot think of the name of this one. Anyway, there's one of the sensors right down here, and it has a vacuum that goes into this railing that's on the side of your intake manifold. Very confusing. But then this is all of your Evap area. So if you look at that diaphragm and you look at all that Evap stuff, this is pretty much it. Like I said, this truck has a million hoses, and it looks confusing, but it really is not. Once you start tracing this stuff, you kind of get the gist of how it is. This is unplugged because it goes to the airbox. But yeah, that's your evap stuff. This big hose here goes to the throttle body. This circulates the charcoal from the canister, runs along here. That goes to the throttle body. Throttle body, I guess, burns that off to the exhaust. This is your EGR stuff right here. As you can see, then there's a valve. Oh yeah, it's right here, this one. This thing right here, this is one of the, I guess it's a swirl valve. I gotta look at the diaphragm, I don't even remember. But yeah, mostly everything is just in this section right here. But there's a, like I said, so many hoses. You're like, what the heck? But yeah, luckily my hoses are good. I've checked this stuff multiple times just to make sure I wasn't leaking, had any cracks. I do have a check engine light for my purge valve, which is weird because I changed this whole entire piece. I went to the junkyard and got a new one. And I changed out all of this just to get rid of it. Changed out my charcoal canister. Check engine light's still on, so it is what it is. You know, I don't have emissions where I live at, so I don't have to worry about CELs or anything like that. But yeah, I tried to help out as best as I could, guys. This is not my expertise, you know. I'm more into fixing parts, taking stuff off, putting it back on, doing all this, you know, vacuum routing, and yeah. If I dig deep, you know, and need to change something myself, I could, but like I said, I would be just as confused as you guys are. Oh, let me show you one other thing. So there's those 3 little wires in the diaphragm at the bottom. Let me get this light. That is right here. See that metal braided wire that I'm flashing the light on? Yeah, it runs, you can see, right under the manifold. And there's a bunch of vacuum that goes there, and that kind of like runs down here, and like, I guess it goes into the manifold, or it just splits off and goes into a bunch of different little areas. But there's even hoses, look at that, down there. So yeah, it's a lot of vacuum in this truck. Don't know why they made it so ridiculous. Once you take that air filter off, this looks like a mess. Like, gosh, there's so much vacuum stuff everywhere. But it's not that confusing. And a lot of this stuff, you don't need it for your truck to run good, to be honest. It's just all emissions. It's all so you can get that smog check, pass it, and keep going. So if you don't have emissions, then a lot of this stuff you don't have to worry about. But yeah, but just make sure to check this every now and then, these lines right here, because you don't want to gum up your intake manifold, and you want to make sure there's no charcoal running through this. But you'll know, you should get a code for that. I think it's like P1447, and you'll see the charcoal in there, and you could change out your charcoal canister. I've got a video up on that. So all right, guys, but that's the best I could do. Have a good day. Thank you.